Welcome. Great to be with you today. So let me ask you something. Did you get your 220 notification yesterday on your phone?
I did not.
Neither did I.
Yeah, I did not. I wondered what was going on with that.
So I'm watching some news thing. We're so thrilled with this. I'm looking at my phone going, well, mine didn't come through.
Yeah.
And you're not the only person I heard where it didn't come through.
Not. I did not get mine either. I wondered what they were even talking about. I saw it too. I saw it later, and I was like, well, I didn't get anything that I know of.
I got zero.
Because I always get, obviously any major alert, for good reason. I get, the Amber Alerts.
I get an Amber Alert,
things like National Weather. Yeah, I get all of that. But I didn't get anything yesterday.
Well, I got nothing. And these guys are all like, well, we did. I'm like, oh, well, I don't know. On my phone, you did nothing. Yeah. Okay. On my iPad, nothing. So I never got it.
Nope, I didn't either.
And you were not the first person to tell me that they didn't get it either. I do want to start out with something that is somewhat sad. And we've mentioned Greg Brooks, the LSU safety, who played against Penn State. I think he had an interception in the Outback Bowl.
Outback Bowl, yep.
Good player. But he is he's been diagnosed with medulloblastoma. That's a rare form of brain cancer. Now, they did do surgery on him, and they removed the tumor in September. It was a success. But they were waiting for the results of the biopsy. And the biopsy confirmed that it's a rare form of brain cancer, medulloblastoma. And he is somebody that obviously he's a captain, transferred over to LSU, and I think I saw him play against Penn State. In fact, if I remember, he wore number 9.
Yeah,
and he picked off a pass in that game. I was like, this guy's a really good player. Can see the field and so forth. Now he has been going through an issue right now with this, where it's great they removed the tumor. Obviously, they're going to need more treatment with him, but it's affecting his speech, and I believe it is affecting his ability to walk right now. It says his speech and his ability to communicate, though, have been impacted to this point. Now, according to the doctor, Dr. Catherine O'Neill at Our Lady of the Lake Health, he is showing no evidence that the cancer has spread. So that's great news.
That's good news. Absolutely.
So now we'll see what happens with Greg Brooks after this. And hopefully this works out. He can somehow be one of the cancer survivors. The Morgan State game, there was a shooting on the Morgan State campus a couple of days ago. They've canceled their game with Stony Brook this week. It's their homecoming game. And all the homecoming events and classes have been canceled for the remainder of the week. 5 people were injured in that shooting. So their next game that they're scheduled to play is at home on October 19th. They will take on North Carolina Central, which is the MEAC opener. All 5 victims, 4 men, 1 woman, all between the ages of 18 and 22, expected to survive. 4 are Morgan State students. No arrests, though, have been made. They say Baltimore Police Commissioner Richard Worley said at least 2 people opened fire Tuesday night during a dispute between 2 groups at the university's homecoming events. But the victims were not likely the shooters' intended targets. Preliminary evidence indicates the shooters were targeting one person, and that one person was not one of the victims. So Morgan State is canceling their homecoming events and their game coming up on Saturday. The NFL is now defending its focus on the Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce pop culture moment. Despite your efforts to, and the repeated letters you've sent to her, she somehow has bypassed you for the Kansas City Chiefs tight end.
I'll tell you. At least she didn't put a restraining order on me. I give her that. That's politeness right there.
Say that. She's the first. So the NFL is defending the recent coverage. Now, why do they have to defend it? They're not not the one covering it.
No.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, it's not the network. Or they're not the network.
Kelce said the league is overdoing it. Okay. And right now, in the games that she's at, they're averaging 27 million TV viewers. The broadcast featured ads for the forthcoming concert, Taylor Swift, The Eras Tour. On several occasions, they cut to her sitting up behind a pane of glass, cheering the Chiefs on enthusiastically. Commentators made references to her song lyrics. Honestly, I've heard a bunch of her songs. I couldn't repeat any of her lyrics. I couldn't.
I could, but it depends on what song. But yeah, and that's
well, of course you could. You send her repeated letters.
Well, you know.
Right?
And you hear her every 5 minutes. That does help.
Yeah, well, no. Referring to yourself as a major big-time radio star.
It was a good effort. It was a good attempt.
I give you credit. I mean,
it was a good effort.
You're trying to rear back and throw your fastball.
They said next time just write media star, and you might have gone a little further. So I'll have to try that one next time.
Well, the problem you have is you don't use a laptop. You use a typewriter, so you have to white it out, and it just doesn't look good. Seeing white out. Okay, great. The NFL has played along, especially on social media. The league went on to state the vast majority of our content has remained focused on the game. Okay. Now, I have no idea if she's going to the Vikings game this week because the Chiefs are playing in Minneapolis.
Yeah, yep.
Asked about the attention placed on him and Swift, Travis Kelce said, I think it's fun when they show who was at the game. I think it brings a little bit more to the atmosphere, brings a little bit more to what you're watching. But at the same time, I think his brother then interjected, they're overdoing it. and then he agreed. He said, yeah, they're overdoing it a little bit for sure, especially my situation. But I think they're just trying to have fun with it. Okay. You, of course, revealed yesterday you have no idea where the State High game is. And that's because you were so totally focused on the Niners and the Cowboys.
Niners, Cowboys, Taylor Swift, Phillies, a lot going on. There's too much stuff going on. No.
The Phillies are just an afterthought to you.
They are. They are.
You are. It's so Niners, Cowboys. So now we turn our attention to 49 good San Francisco seconds to set up.
How about it?
The big Sunday night showdown at 8:20, sans Taylor Swift.
How about that? She might show up. Who knows? But I think to me this is exciting for the fact that this is the first time in prime time you see the Niners and Cowboys since 1990 when Joe Montana.
Really?
Yeah, literally. First time in prime time.
Wow.
Because when they played those NFC Championship games, they were 4 o'clock.
I've done a very good job in my life of not keeping track of what's on prime time.
Yeah, as far as I know, I could have missed a game somewhere, which I may have, and I'm just overthought a game.
You did not miss a game. No, you overthink everything.
Yeah, but other than that, as far as I can remember, the last time these two teams played in prime time.
Anybody who sits there and is taking this stuff, the banner, seriously, you've got a problem.
You're in trouble.
Okay, go ahead.
I think as far as I can remember, that 1990 game on Sunday Night Football with Troy Aikman in Montana. I think that was the last time that I remember these teams playing in prime time. So that part of it is going to be a little bit exciting. I think that should be a lot of fun. And I think this rivalry is back. I think you can tell by the last 2.5 years, 2 playoff games. Dallas, I think, had their chances to win on several occasions, and It's an opportunity again for them coming up here Sunday night. I think it's going to be a great game.
Oh, I think it's going to be a great game. It'll be interesting to see what they do quick game-wise against the Cowboys pass rush with Brock Purdy, because I think quick game is going to be needed.
Very much so.
And then to see what Dak Prescott does with the pressure he'll get from the 49ers. What's great about what the Niners do defensively, it's the same thing with the Cowboys. They only have to rush 4.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to. They don't have to blitz a lot.
No, they get to the quarterback. And that 49er front 4 is incredible. I think the addition of Hargrave is added even more because you have obviously Armstead and Bosa there too. Bosa, I think, is still settling in a little bit. I think people underestimate how difficult it is for these players. Well, not difficult, they're getting their money, but how difficult it is to get into football shape when you're holding out. It's not often that somebody can come right on the field and just play without any practice or preseason. It's not easy, and it's showing with Bosa in those first 4 games. He does have a sack, but he's still not the Bosa of old just yet. I think he's trying to settle in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that's right. Supposedly the Big Ten is right on the verge of giving us a schedule.
I've
for football
seen a couple leaks potentially. So yes, hopefully
one of them was at Minnesota. I
yes.
believe. So we'll see what it ends up being. The original one I liked a lot.
Oh, same here. Absolutely.
And it made sense. Supposedly they're going to be doing schedules for 5 seasons.
Okay.
24, 25, 26, 27, and 28. Okay. And then we'll see what kind of formula they have. If they're doing it for 5 years, if that is the case, that then tells me that there might be an attempt to make sure over 5 years you're playing everybody away.
Yeah, yep.
Okay, I'm saying maybe.
I think that's a good chance. Because football, NFL is doing it where obviously you have more, but they're doing it every 4 years. So you're playing every 8 years. You're playing somebody home and away.
Right.
You're playing every team every 4 years.
Right. And again, remember next year it's going to be 1 through 18.
Yeah.
That's why I've mentioned this a couple of times. I've asked my fellow Big Ten broadcasting brethren, just in conversation, whether we're chatting in a booth or we're chatting we had that golf outing in May out of Bloomington. Yep. And the and what they did was I said, guys, let me ask you something. Is it good to finish 8th? Now, the best answer I got was it depends on who you are.
Yeah.
So in other words, say you're, let's just pick one. Let's pick Northwestern. Penn State just played them. Bless you.
Thank you.
If Northwestern they're 2-3 right now. So let's just say they go through this season and they end up, let's just pick a number just to pick it. Say they end up 4-8. Well, what happens if next year they go out and they finish 4-5 in the conference,
yep,
and they're in 8th place? Well, no offense, that actually would be a step up for them. That would be
yep,
that would show improvement. So they move up
yep
to 8th. But if you are one of the power teams, and whether that happens to be Penn State, Ohio State, USC, Michigan. Maybe you can throw in Wisconsin in there.
Yeah.
Whatever. And like one of them finishes 8th. It's like,
Big time.
not good. Not good.
And I think from a perspective of coaches is one thing that you look at there too, because let's use Iowa as an example. And then, look, I'm not picking on Kirk Ferentz, but Iowa.
All those Iowa people speak highly of you.
I'm glad they do. Somebody does. But I think, prime example, they're going to be top 2 or 3 in the Big Ten West. They are every year. Yeah. But you look at, they finished 9th in the Big Ten next year suddenly. It looks a lot worse. Sure. And that's where I think from a coaching perspective, it's, okay, they finished 9th in the Big Ten. It's a lot harder to look at it that way than it is, okay, they're 2nd in the Big Ten West. That's where I think it gets interesting, is from a coaching perspective. Fans are going to see a lot more now. Say, hey, this guy finished 9th in the Big Ten. That's not good enough. Hey, you finished 2nd in the Big Ten West. That's better. I think that's where I'm looking at it, saying, hey.
That's why I think at some point you might see them go back to that.
I think so,
in some
too.
form, because I think you're going to have people complaining like, okay, now where the heck are we here in all this? And that's... Everything has been done in this conference. And I'll just say it straight out. To see if they can somehow get a Ohio State-Michigan championship game. When they did Leaders and Legends, they were in opposite divisions. Okay. But they were allowed to play a crossover game.
Right.
So everybody's forced to play a crossover game. Penn State's was Nebraska. Okay. Now they went East-West. So that got eliminated. Now they're going to do this 1 through 18. What do you think the purpose of 1 through 18 is?
Same thing.
Right, exactly.
Absolutely.
Right.
If it wasn't, you would have easily kept the West, and you would have kept USC, UCLA, but this prior to Washington, USC, UCLA in there, and had the possibility of USC playing either or.
Sure.
And there's no question. So there's no doubt that that is the goal. Absolutely.
I mean, oh no, we would never do. Yeah,
yes, they would.
Actually, over here in the back, yeah,
yes,
you would.
they would.
I've done this. Have done this a while. I have actually traveled the miles.
The Big Ten could get 3 teams in the college football playoff, and they can get 4. Well, they get 4. Well, they get 4.
I think they could get 4. If they ever expand to 16, they could get 5.
They could easily get 5. Yeah, and you go Big Ten of pass, they would be, we're happy to have Ohio State, Michigan in there. They would ignore that third team. That doesn't matter who it is. And Penn State. And Michigan State and Iowa.
Hey, don't forget, coming up on our show tonight, once we're done previewing Ohio State and Michigan in the college football playoff, we got a 3-minute segment on Penn State making the college football playoff.
Exactly.
That'll be great. It's like, okay,
exactly.
Fabulous.
Michigan State made the playoff that one year. You would have never known.
Can I say this about BTN? They're actually very fair.
There's no doubt.
Those guys,
they are.
I'm making a joke here, but they are
extremely
fair covering everybody.
Yeah.
And they give everybody a lot of time.
Sure.
And they do not slice and dice teams.
No.
They'll give you analysis as to why or why not, but they don't slice and dice teams. I think BTN does a great job.
They always have. Yeah.
Right.
I have a lot of respect for Dave Ripson. I think he is as good as it gets. Yeah.
Well,
as good as it gets.
Dave, Howard, Jerry. I mean, I know these guys.
Yep. Incredible
Great guys, smart guys. Yep. Enjoy talking with them. So BTN is not the issue. Now let's go to the network that no longer carries the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Interesting group. So what did you think about Pat McAfee in his rant? Now, to me, you are entitled to have opinions. There is nothing wrong with having opinions. Last I checked, this show is based on that.
Anything in radio can be, yeah.
Last time I checked, it was based on that. But he made, number one, can I say something about what Lee Corso said about Washington State, Oregon State? we know that Lee, God bless him, has struggled. Is that fair?
Yeah,
He
sure.
struggled a little bit. And I think if you listen closely to what he was saying, he actually did not refer to it as the Nobody Wants to Watch It Bowl. He actually said something that was different. But he slurred it in such a way that it came out, it seemed like it came out that way. And that's something that is, and again, you know what I think of narratives.
Yeah, of course.
I think, hey, the narrative says, that tells me it's wrong.
Yeah, that tells you it's wrong usually, yeah. 9 times out of 10.
That tells me it's wrong.
There's that one you might get right, but there's not many.
That tells me right away. We're just going to, in other words, like, we're all done. No more needed work here.
Yep.
No. That's not quite what he said. And Jake Dickert, the coach of Washington State, whom I don't blame for being sensitive about the subject at all, because like they're the ones sitting there looking around like, what do we do here?
Yep.
Right? Said something about it. Well, then Pat McAfee came out on the show the next week and ripped the living daylights out of Washington State and the flag.
Yeah.
Old Crimson, which has been there for 290
several years.
something weeks, right? I think 292 weeks or some number like that. And he went and just put it down. Like, okay. And I'm like, what are we doing here? I'm not saying you have to sit there, but don't rip the people that keep putting it out there.
Right.
It's a part of the show. They make a big deal out of it. They have fun with it. When I make a big deal out of it, they mention it. There it is. Okay. Well, the whole thing takes 15 to 20 seconds.
Not long. Yep.
And Pat McAfee is absolutely entitled to give any opinion he has about it. That's perfect. I have no problem with that. But I didn't think it was necessary. How about that? What did you think?
Same thing. Yeah, I didn't at all think it was necessary. I think that's especially with, the last thing you mentioned, it takes 15 to 20 seconds to mention something that other times they take 15 to 20 minutes mentioning things that don't need to be mentioned at all.
Right.
So I think for me, I had no problem with, I had a little bit of a problem with the rant. I have no problem with what they do with Washington State. I think that is fine. Traditions are entitled to be honored. I think there's no question about that. And I think for Pat McAfee, part of it was in his mind defending his coworker.
Yes, I understand.
But I think that was one way to look at it. But the other part of it, I have no problem with them honoring Washington State in any way. I think that was, and that was really where I had the issue with it. I think McAfee was not completely in the wrong because I think he's coming to the defense. But the other part of it, the other part of it is where I was wondering where he was going with it. I kind of questioned it there.
Yeah. Again, part of this issue is Lee Corso was trying to be glib with a one-liner.
Yeah. And struggled.
And he's struggling, and not only is he struggling with enunciation. Mm-hmm. And that's how it came out on the negative side of it.
Right.
Corso called the Oregon State-Washington State game the No One Wants Us Bowl. Okay?
Yep. Which is a fair assessment.
Right.
Yep.
And that's what he was trying to say. And people thought he said no one watches us bowl. No one watches bowl.
Yeah.
No one watches bowl. What he said was no one wants us bowl.
Right.
But again, he slurred it in such a way where people probably thought he said no one watches bowl. And what he actually said was no one wants us bowl.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, there is nothing wrong with that. And Jake Dickert, who's the head coach at Washington State, who, by the way, is doing a great job.
Unbelievable job.
He's got a terrific quarterback. I mean, Cam Ward is really good.
He flew under the radar first week or two. He's not anymore.
I watched him play last year, Jason. I liked him last year.
I liked him a little bit last year, too.
Like I said, I watch more Pac-12 football than other
after dark
conferences because that's when I get home.
Exactly.
Right, that's when I get home. Like even the Northwestern road trip, for example, it was a noon game. I was home between 7:30 and 8.
Yeah.
Well, I watched. Those are the games I watched.
Sure.
I mean, were the later games. So Dickert's done a great job with them. Took over a tough situation, and Cam Ward is a terrific quarterback to watch. And Oregon State's a good team, and I watched their game with Utah the other night on Friday night when I was in Northbrook, and that's like an issue. For example, Lee said that I think the most important thing that Pat McAfee should have done was to first say, he said, I want to straighten out something. He says, Lee Corso said, and give the exact quote. It's the no one wants us bowl.
Absolutely.
Right? And then if you want to rip Washington State for taking it out of context, then go ahead.
Go ahead.
But at least say what he said.
Right.
All right? And probably, as I'm doing this right now, I'm probably one of the first ones to tell you what he actually said.
Yeah. Yep.
And it was not as cutting as it was reported by a lot of people that what he said. And that's not what he said.
That's not what he said. No.
But we are in an era where you're trying to one up everybody and come up with there are certain members of the media, not all, certain,
but I know where you're going. Yep.
For example, a talk show host in New York referred to Evan Neal as, I believe the quote was, a pile of garbage. Like, come on, what are we doing here? Really? This is after the Zach Wilson thing where, where Rodney Harrison, we went through this all yesterday. But it was Don LaGreca, ESPN New York host, and ESPN Radio in New York is going away, by the way.
Yes.
He doubled down after Mike's heard him egg on home fans during the Monday night game to boo louder. He told NJ.com, why would a lion concern himself with the opinion of a sheep? So far, so good. Apparently, LaGreca didn't take too kindly to Evan Neal demeaning Giants fans. In an angry, screaming rant on the Michael Kay show on Wednesday, LaGreca called Neal's and called the offensive tackle, quote, a piece of human trash. Okay, so it was human trash. I'd rather have a guy that's flipping hamburgers block your piece of garbage. And then he swore. Who the hell are you to talk to fans like that, you piece of garbage? Okay. There you go. I mean, this is what we're doing now?
Yeah. Well, it's not new, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think it's what you've had for for the better part of 15 to 20 years, unfortunately, but it's one of two things that I get. It doesn't offend me, but I get annoyed with, and it's rants where you degrade somebody completely. You could say this guy struggled, this guy needs to work on this, and this, and then get away, and that's being critical in a good way. A lot easier than calling him garbage or trash or anything else, because he's in a place where you've never been, the National Football League. And
now, should Evan Neal have criticized the fans? No.
No, absolutely not. But the other part of it with media, and it's been this way for as long as I've been in it, I have always done my best to take pride in getting it right. I don't care if I'm first. There's so many people that want to be first.
When it comes to the location of the State I game, you weren't first yesterday. No.
That's why I paused. No, I knew the game was in Carlisle. But,
again, if you're taking any of this seriously,
there's probably one person listening saying, he covers State High and he didn't know the game was in Carlisle.
I know. He did, okay?
That's the funny part. But
you can't take the banner between us seriously,
no,
please.
my goodness,
We're just kidding with each
no
other.
way. But, no, I think there's so many people that strive to get it right. And those are the people that typically get it wrong.
Look, there's what's always been a goal of the show. You and I have done this many times together. I mean, you've always been the fill-in guy, but you've always been, you and I have always had
absolutely
a blast doing it every time.
Yeah.
What's always been one of the goals? You can't achieve it every day.
No.
But do you learn more about
Absolutely.
sports or the subject when we're done talking about it?
Certainly.
Calling somebody a piece of trash or garbage or whatever, that's not advancing that.
No.
Nope. That doesn't do anything to me. It just it's not my style. Well, you're about the only person I get negative about. No. But it's not.
No, it's not. Well, it's not only style. It's a matter of just you're not. I think that's, to me, you're absolutely right. You're not learning anything. You're saying Niels can't, and is struggling to run block. He missed 2 blocks yesterday, and Jones almost got killed. Well, that's a little bit different.
Did Neil? He played in the game.
He did.
Yeah, he did play.
That's a little bit different.
That's right.
Than,
Thomas is the one that didn't play.
That's a little bit different than this guy's human garbage. Blah blah blah. You're learning something there.
Yeah.
And the best offensive linemen in football have terrible games sometimes. That does happen.
Right. Look, here's the bottom line. Right. Has Neil been struggling with the Giants?
Yeah,
he has.
absolutely.
That's why he's playing right tackle.
That's why he's playing right tackle, yeah.
And that's why Thomas plays left tackle. All right, that's one. Number 2, about being booed, that's the paying customer.
That's, you got it. And they've been bad at home. Right. There's no sugarcoating that. They've not been good at home.
The Giants so far in 4 games have led for 4 minutes. Excuse me, my apologies. 8 minutes.
8 minutes. Yeah.
8 minutes. They have had the lead for 8 minutes. They have not scored a touchdown in the first half. Okay? That paying customer.
Yeah, they've got every right.
Who, by the way, didn't just pay for the ticket.
No.
They pay for the gas, they pay for the parking, they pay for the food, they pay for the concessions, they pay for the ticket. I don't even know. They probably had to pay for a seat license, right?
If you're a season ticket holder, absolutely.
Right.
Yep.
So you've had to pay all these things. Well, guess what? You want a little bit more for your money, don't you? I don't blame them for being upset about it. Right? And the challenge to Evan Neal is, hey, guess what? Play better.
Yeah.
Right? Play better. If you're out there and it ends up being a tight game and when it's over with, everybody goes, geez, they gave it everything they had. That was something else. Right? You didn't win, but at least people walk away going, okay, you know what? I saw something good today.
Yeah, saw a great game.
Right? Well, Monday night, did you walk out Monday night going, whoa, that was something else?
Nope.
I mean, of course the fans were ticked off.
And they should be.
Right? Again, you have now played, 240 minutes of football?
Mm-hmm.
You've either been tied or behind in 232 of them. Okay?
And
at home the other night, you weren't in front once.
No. And the other part of it, and granted every game counts the same. You take every opponent the same. But when you're under the bright lights of prime time, that's when you want to shine the most.
Yeah.
They were not good. And that's putting it lightly.
Well, then there's your team. Yeah. People sit at home and boo them.
Well, they boo them and they boo me. I can't figure why they boo me. I'm not on the field.
Right. I mean, where are we going? Now referring to, name-calling people.
Absolutely.
Now, was Evan Neal right about what he said about the fans? No. He was not.
No.
Right? Does he deserve to be called either trash or garbage?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Right? Does Zach Wilson's game, or I don't think it was a personal thing, but does he deserve to have his game called garbage?
No.
No. He's a National Football League player who's considered by everybody to not be among the best.
Yeah.
He's 33 through 64. He's a backup quarterback.
Yep.
So he's somewhere between 33 and 64. in the mindset of quarterbacks in the league. Okay. So you don't need to do that. Chris Jones, the player, handled it perfectly.
Yep.
The man who's been in the arena did not.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, I just
Man
thought,
who's been in the arena and the man who's learned, to me, and I think, look, coaching matters too. And look, he learned from the very best. Bill Belichick has benched the best players for playoff games. It's happened before.
Sure.
So you know what you can and can't say, and you got to be careful with your comments. And Rodney Harrison most certainly learned that in New England. I don't think there's any doubt about that. You look at Tom Brady's press conferences.
He learned that with the Chargers, too.
Yeah, absolutely. You look at these guys' press conferences, you're going to tell me these guys, and same with the Chargers, tell me Marty Schottenheimer didn't teach him a thing or two? Yeah, there's no question about it. These guys learn this stuff, and you've got to be better in that spot.
Well, again, you've been in the arena.
Yeah.
Rodney Harrison had a lot of great games.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
Because he's a really good player. He also had some mediocre games.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't have a long career without having a couple of hiccups along the way. And he was probably criticizing the media for doing it. Well, I'm not saying you have to sit there and not be critical. You can sit there and say, hey, Zach Wilson struggled here, 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 and here.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't been giving the Jets the best chance to win. Well, what's wrong with that? Nothing. Okay? Did he play better against Kansas City Sunday night?
Yeah, a lot better.
All right. Gave his team a chance to win. Okay. So that's why a guy that's been in the arena that has absorbed criticism that he probably thought was unfair in his career can't be then doling out unfair criticism as well by using the wrong word. Again, you can be critical, but not personal like that. Garbage is a bad word.
Yeah, complete. Right. Yep.
Nothing but sweeps in the Major League Baseball world.
Yeah.
Texas beat Tampa 7-1. Nathan Eovaldi again. A guy. Certain guys are like this in the postseason.
Yep.
Zach Wheeler, Nathan Eovaldi. They're just like steady. The Twins.
How about it?
First time in what, 21 years?
Though, too? Yeah.
22
beat
years.
the A's? Yep.
22 years.
Yep.
Advanced to the ALDS. They've got the Astros next.
Yep.
The Rangers, they advanced as well. And the Rangers have, who do they have next?
Rangers should have the Orioles.
Yep. They've got the Orioles next. And then you go to the National League, and Arizona swept Milwaukee. They've got the Dodgers next.
Yeah.
And the Phillies easily swept, and now they've got the Braves.
Yeah, I think that is the series. I think when you're looking at...
But again, this baffles me. See, you need to reseed when you're done.
Yeah,
okay?
I would agree.
The Braves should be getting
Braves
the Diamondbacks.
Should be getting the Diamondbacks. Phillies should be getting the Dodgers.
Yeah, it should be 1 versus 6, 2 versus 4.
Yep.
Is what I think. Do you have to reseed in the American League? I think it played out right, didn't it? In the American League? Texas has Baltimore. Houston.
Houston would be playing Minnesota. I'm trying to think of who 6 was. And
well, Minnesota
was
Minnesota's a division champ.
So it had to be. Yeah, so they got it right then. Yeah, because Texas would be a wild card. Yep.
Yeah, Baltimore's the number 1 seed. So that ended up right. Yep. The National League did not. And
Rangers are a very good 6 seed. they are a strong team.
They really are. They don't have Scherzer.
Yeah.
No, it's not like they have everybody. They don't. But it'll be fun to see Baltimore. It's interesting, by sweeping, everybody gets a couple of days.
Yeah.
So their bullpen
gets Saturday. Yeah.
And Robbie Thompson didn't have to do much with his bullpen.
No, the pitching. Obviously, Nola pitched a gem last night too.
Yeah.
Great job.
I mean, that's what the Phillies need. Yeah. They need to have Wheeler and Nola as a 1-2 punch at the front. And they can start the series with Atlanta with Wheeler and Nola.
Yep.
Okay? They don't have to change anything they're doing. And then
Wheeler will have 3 days rest.
Yeah, and then we'll find out. When does the series start?
Saturday night,
They don't have to change anything.
No, shouldn't have to.
And we'll see what a week off means to the Braves, the Dodgers, the Orioles and the Astros. We'll see what the week off means to them, if they take a little bit to get out of the gate, or they're just so energized to play and they're rested, they're ready to fly out of there and just play.
Yep.
But the Phillies, terrific. I mean, they're playing, and not only that, they're getting production out of the 9 spot.
They're getting production top to bottom.
But he's a good left fielder. But guess what? He's producing.
He's producing. Yeah, they're getting. And I said, really, coming into the playoffs, everybody knew what you got out of the big guys. You knew Castellanos, Harper, Real Muto were going to be fine. Out of that 9 spot, absolutely, that's been huge. Pache made some great plays in the field last night.
Yep.
And I think, to me, you look really at Bohm and Stott. To me, are 2 guys that are going to be a huge key if this team is going to go the distance. I think that they've had a great year. They had a great year. They finished strong, and obviously Stott had a great game last night. Bohm, the same thing. I think if Phillies are going to advance, they're going to need, absolutely, in that bottom of the order, they're going to especially need Stott and Bohm to play at the level they're playing at right now. I think if the 2 of them can continue, because even defensively, Stott has improved so much. He is just incredible. And to me, you get that. You have the fans behind you. That's pretty clear. The last 2 games, that atmosphere was off the charts. You get the 2 of them to increase that production even more than what they've done, and they've been great. That team's going to be tough to beat.
Well, those 2 are beloved, Bohm
absolutely,
and Stott.
Yep.
Why? They're homegrown.
They're homegrown. Yeah.
And that tells you, if you're smart with how you draft.
Yep.
They're both first-round picks.
Yeah.
Bohm was, the 3rd overall pick in the draft?
Yep. Bohm was high, yep.
And Stott
was first round, yep.
First-round pick.
Played here, played at Williamsport for a little bit.
Well, they both did.
Yeah. Yeah, Bohm did. Yeah, he did. Yeah, Bohm did. Yeah, he did.
They both played here at Medley Field.
Yeah, he did.
No, they both played here.
Yeah.
Loved Bohn's bat. Thought he was too stiff at 3rd.
And he was to start his career. Right? Yeah, he absolutely was.
And now he's playing with great flexibility, and I give him a lot of credit because you can tell he worked hard at it. Stott I've always liked.
Yeah, Stott's...
In fact, we had Stott on the show.
Yeah, he's a solid hitter.
I mean, but can just play.
He really can. And it's... Playing that second base position effortlessly a lot of time, well, it looks effortlessly, is difficult, especially on double plays. There's a couple players that I've seen played that position as good as anybody. Obviously, Roberto Alomar, to me, was as good as it gets. One guy that's going to be forgotten because obviously he was suspended for steroid use or whatever use, performance enhancer. Robinson Cano, I think, was a guy that was exceptional at that position.
And defensively?
I thought defensively on double plays, he was terrible. He was terrible fielding.
No.
But double plays, he was effortless.
Robinson Cano.
One of the sweeter swings in baseball, too.
Oh, great swing.
Yeah.
Oh, great swing. The Yankees are an interesting... The history of what the Yankees have done.
They were bad at second with Knobloch. No doubt about that.
Right.
Knobloch was bad.
Cano, Jeter, Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Wow, look at the big names. Not a great defensive infield. What bailed them out? Let's go. So let's go pre. We'll go pre Cano and pre Rodriguez. Tino Martinez was a terrific first baseman.
Yeah, and that's 2009. You had Teixeira there too. Teixeira was good.
Then they got Mark Teixeira.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Jeter was. I mean. It's like anytime you bring up something about Jeter and you try to give honest analysis about Jeter, people can't take it. I'm like sitting there like going, it's okay to honestly look at somebody and say, guess what?
Yeah.
Derek Jeter was a good shortstop.
Yeah.
Okay? But he was not a very good shortstop, and he was not a great shortstop. He was good.
He was good.
He was not mediocre.
No, he was good.
He was not mediocre, and he wasn't poor.
Yep. He was good.
He was good.
Yep.
Okay?
And I would
Cano was actually a mediocre second baseman.
Right.
Okay. Alex Rodriguez was mediocre to good at third.
Yeah.
Teixeira was exceptional at first.
Defensively. Absolutely.
And he changed everything for them. And look, okay, that's what a really good. That's why I give Harper credit. Harper's done a nice job down at first.
Harper's doing a great job.
He's not Mark Teixeira.
No.
But he's done a really nice job. But you can't just stick somebody at first base.
No.
Because you need their bat in the lineup.
No.
You got to be able to play it, and you've got to be able to make the infield better.
Yankees tried that with Mickey Mantle. It didn't. Was not.
Oh, I mean, teams have tried it. They tried it with Mantle at first base.
Yep.
Now, Yastrzemski ended up being a good first baseman.
Good, solid.
Yastrzemski.
Posey, I think if he had more time, would have been better.
Would have. Joe Mauer was okay.
Same thing. Yep.
Was okay. But, the guys that were made to play that spot, I'll tell you, you look at Olsen with Atlanta, not bad.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Freddie Freeman.
Freeman was,
Okay.
Yep.
And some guys that can really play.
Yep.
At that spot, good players at first base that defensively make the entire infield better. Yep. That's what you're looking for. And when you look at the guys that are left in this thing, obviously Harper's playing first.
Yep.
Olsen.
Yep.
Twins are not bad at first.
No.
And neither's Houston. Houston's all right.
Houston has, even on defensive changes, Houston is pretty solid at first. Yeah.
Right. They're not bad.
Yeah, Mancini had to play the World Series last year.
Not good.
He's not good, but he still had to play. And that play.
I know. Yeah, I know.
That play. Yeah. Phillies win Game 5. God knows what happens.
Yeah.
But that's a play.
Mancini.
Yep.
But here we go. So now we're down to the final 8. Mm-hmm. Okay. A lot of yelling coming out of one of the studios. It's actually part of the show. It's not. But it's interesting. So where are you going tomorrow?
Carlisle.
Somebody driving you?
Not I usually do the driving. I usually get us there somehow. By miracle sometimes, using the force sometimes. I get there.
But you weren't even sure you were going early in the week. You're sure you're going to be able to make it. I just want to make sure you can get there. Yeah. Then what are you doing on the bye weekend?
The bye weekend for Penn State? Just watching football, watching the Phillies.
What time? Do we know what time the Phillies game is?
Yeah, 6 o'clock. Well, 6:07 is the official first pitch, but 6 o'clock.
Saturday?
On Saturday. Yep, Saturday, and then they get the day off, play Monday.
So what's the primetime game?
What is the primetime game for college football? I know.
No, the primetime game for college football is Texas, Oklahoma, I think.
No, they played. I think that's a noon game.
I don't think so. I think
really they moved.
Unless it's on ESPN.
I think it is on ABC. Yeah, I think it's the noon game.
Because Maryland and Ohio State is.
That's noon on Fox. Yep. I want to say the Red River Shootout is actually noon on ABC.
No, you're right. It is noon. Noon on ABC. Maryland, Ohio State is noon. LSU, Missouri, noon. Washington State, UCLA is at 3. That's on the Pac-12 network. Virginia Tech, Florida State's 3:30. Alabama, Texas A&M. This isn't bad. It's a 3:30 game on CBS, so that's where Brad and Gary will be. Syracuse, North Carolina. Kentucky, Georgia's at 7. Michigan, Minnesota's the NBC game at 7:30. Notre Dame, Louisville's on ABC at 7:30. Arkansas will miss 7:30, SEC Network. Georgia Tech, Miami, ACC Network. Fresno State, Wyoming is at 8 on Fox. That's at 8 on Fox. Yep. Really?
Yeah.
Oregon State, Cal's on Pac-12 Network, and Arizona and USC is on ESPN. That is the 10:30 game. So let's see, Major League Baseball.
Yeah, it makes sense to what the league game is.
So here's Saturday. Saturday for Major League Baseball is as follows. The Rangers and Orioles are the 1 o'clock game on Fox Sports 1. The Twins and Astros will be the 4:45 game on Fox Sports 1. So Fox Sports 1 will have the American League. The National League will be on TBS. It is the Phillies and the Braves, as you mentioned, at 6. The 9:20 game is Arizona at the Dodgers.
Then they alternate. AL gets Sunday, NL gets Monday.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll alternate after that. Yeah, you get the Sunday, it's the American League, Rangers, Orioles, Twins, Astros. You get the Monday, and it's going to be Phillies, Braves, Dodgers, D-backs. And then on Tuesday, back the American League. Wednesday, everybody plays. Everybody plays Wednesday, TBD, next week. and it's going to get chilly next week.
Yeah, it is.
Now, it turns out that, Minnesota, it's going to be chilly. Philadelphia, it's going to be really chilly. I mean, it's going to be cold.
Mm-hmm.
Arizona and Texas, no problem.
I was going to say, Arizona and Texas is saying, okay, no problem.
In fact, they may open the roof.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, they might open the roof.
They probably
They might open the roof. Even in Arizona,
They probably will.
The roof. They hardly ever open that roof.
No.
In Arizona. Hardly
It's going to be
ever.
interesting to see playoff baseball back in Arizona, too. I think it's not,
As
great.
much as, by the way, as much as I find Oklahoma, Texas intriguing, and I do,
Yeah.
I still got to watch Maryland, Ohio State.
Same here. Yeah, I think
gotta watch
it's Maryland is very much an unknown right now, still unranked, and I think you look at them, you wonder just if they can rise to the occasion in a big game. That's where they've struggled in the past.
Yeah.
Not that they don't play Ohio State well; they played them well. They've struggled in that spot, and they've obviously struggled against Penn State.
Right. So what's the Friday night game?
That I'm not sure on.
Friday. Oh, I know. It's Nebraska and Illinois.
Oh, okay.
They had a fire
They did. I did see that.
at the Illinois
Yeah.
Stadium, a Memorial Stadium. Now, the stadium itself was not on fire, but parts of it did affect the stadium.
The seats.
There was a tractor or a couple of tractors that were parked underneath the stadium that caught fire. Why, I don't know. And of course, you're like, wow, it's field turf. Why do they have tractors? Well, they mow the parking lots.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. They do. They mow the parking lots. They're grass. And they were assessing to see if it did enough damage to cause a problem. From the press box, the area affected, as you look out on a TV camera, would be to your right on the near side, the near corner on the right. That's where it happens, the southwest corner. They think that there's not enough damage there to have any effect on the game, but Nebraska and Illinois will be the Friday night game. You, of course, will be. I'd like to point out you will be at Carlisle.
I will be at Carlisle.
Yeah.
The Thundering Herd get their chance at State College.
And then I'm looking at my phone. I not only did not get an EAS test.
No.
I did not get one. Nor did I get an invite from you for Chip and Dip Day on Saturday.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you. I was trying. I told my assistant to send all invites out, and they snubbed you again. I'm going to have to get on them for that.
There's a big problem with your people. No EAS and no Jason Lord text. No. And I know my phone works, as Jack Ham texted me this morning.
Yeah, my phone works.
My phone works.
Yeah, my phone works.
Right? Okay.
We should be getting the EAS tests. Not fair.
Guess I'm on my own. I was with a guy yesterday. He says, I got mine. Mine says, what did it say? It said, no action needed. I said, really? I said, mine said head for the hills. All right. You're not in tomorrow?
I'm not in tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, really?
That's you can thank my doctors for saying I need to see you Friday.
Hey, have a great game tomorrow. Have a great weekend, my friend.
Always enjoy the Saturday
always
off.
A pleasure. And enjoy your Sunday night.
Yes, should be a good one.
Do you pace during a 49ers game?
No, but I usually watch it by myself. I don't go, to a gathering or any of that kind of stuff.
Have you ever watched it with your brother?
Yes, but he's usually upstairs now.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
They play the Falcons in too many big games for him to be down with me anymore. He's a Falcons fan.
Actually, next week, my brother is coming to the game.
Nice.
He hasn't been here in a few years.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's
here for homecoming.
He's coming here next week.
Nice.
And they've got a lot of people right now, like, trying to find him to pump him for stories. All right. Hey, have a great one, my good friend.
Likewise.
As always.
Same.
And we'll talk to you. Are you back next week? What do you think?
I don't know if I'm back next week at all. I haven't heard that. I don't know if I got a band for the building yet or not.
I've been making up signs all day.
No band letter yet.
So maybe a week after this?
Might be.
Okay, good. Have a great one.